Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey everyone, and welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk Show. It is so great to be with everyone this evening on this fantastic Friday of May. It is May 15th if you're watching us live. If this is your very first time here, I want to take the opportunity to say welcome and thank you so much for joining me. If you've been here one time or many times in the past, I would like to say not only thank you, but I also would like to say the words welcome back. So, yes, guys, let's kick this off, right? If you're thirsty, if you're hungry, I know I just had something a while ago. I have a delicious cup of hot tea here. Decaf. Feel free to get yourself something and come on back to the show so we can kick this off. All right, everyone? Don't forget to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for, of course, more of my amazing, inspiring creations, which you can do 24 hours a day. Not now because we are on the show, but after the show is over, feel free to go grab something. And yeah, I think you guys will find this to be pretty amazing. So I hope you guys enjoy the show, and I hope that you gain some amazing insights and knowledge from it, and that you could share it with all the people that you know so very well. All right, guys, without any further ado, let's kick this show off. So this is the JMOR Tech Talk Show. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the show. And if you didn't know, I can't believe we are on Series 5, show number 20. That's right. So again, I am John C. Morley. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm an engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, graduate student, passionate lifelong learner, and now I'm so grateful to be a published author. So it's great to be with everyone here. So again, like I said, welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk Show, where I break down the most important shifts in today's technology, innovation, AI, cybersecurity, and the digital system shaping our future as we now know it. So again, welcome everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to have you here with me on the show to inspire you more. Now, each week, I go beyond the headlines to understand what these changes actually mean for businesses, individuals, and the global digital ecosystem at large that we all are part of and we all operate in. So let's get into this week's most important tech developments. Are you ready, guys? I know I am. Each week, we put out 14 reels, and they're there to give you a teaser of what's happening and what's actually going on. And then the show, I break it down a lot more. So number one, universities hit by global cyber attacks. Yes, a large-scale cyber attack targeting the Canvas, the educational platform, has exposed how fragile global education systems have become. Thousands of universities across multiple regions reportedly experienced disruptions with student communications, assignments, and internal systems potentially exposed. And so what makes this particularly serious is not just the breach itself, but the scale and centralization of the risk. When one platform becomes the backbone of global education infrastructure, a single vulnerability can cascade across institutions worldwide, and this is no longer just a school IT issue, guys. It's a systematic warning about centralized digital dependency. And I was curious about something, so I did some checking because so at Montclair University they were definitely affected, and I'm still not able to get my grades. They said supposedly today, the end of today, which is the 15th, that we should have our grades. But don't have them yet. So hopefully that will happen soon. The big thing is, so who invented, that's my really question, who invented, Canvas for schools? and that was where I wanted to start. I wanted to start there. So Canva was developed by the education technology company Infrastructure, which was founded in 2008 by Brigham Young University BYU graduate students, Brian Whittemer and Devlin Daly. They created Canvas as a modern cloud-based alternative to existing learning management LMS systems like Blackboard's officially launching their actual platform in 2011. And they created the platform to be user-friendly and native to the cloud. The company received early funding and mentorship from Josh Coates, who served as CEO from 2010 to 2018. The launch and growth in 2011, Canva quickly grew by offering an open source alternative to traditional LMS providers. Adoption, where popular to higher education infrastructures, launched a specific Canvas K-12 cloud offering for schools in 2012. Ownership of Infrastructure is the parent company of Canvas, which was acquired by Thomas Bravo in 2020 and later became publicly traded now today. So that was pretty interesting, what happened. And the big question is, so what happened and how did, Canvas get hacked? I think that's really the main thing. This is a little hard for some people to realize, but, basically these systems are not foolproof, okay? And so data was stolen in Canvas, and the hack, as I said, hit thousands of schools. You name it. Montclair State University, you've got Rutgers, Yale, Oxford, Princeton, and I can go through a plethora of schools. Like almost every school I name is going to be affected. I mean, you could probably not find one that's not using Canvas. So a ransom note signed by a hacking company appeared on the homepage of the Canvas site for large public school systems and top universities like, of course, Columbia, Princeton, Harvard, Georgetown. This happened last week, Thursday. The hacking group Shiny Hunters claimed to have breached the platform's parent company, according to a screenshot obtained by, this was CNN. The group said they impacted schools, and they had until May 12th to negotiate a settlement. Yeah. Shiny Hunters previously claimed it had breached 275 million individuals' data and had access to several billions of private messages, according to the ransomware note shared by the Ransomware Live, which had happened on May 3rd, which tracks ransomware attack groups around the world. So data accessed by the hacking group, including information like usernames, email addresses, course names, enrollment information, and messages according to the infrastructure, course content, submissions, and credentials, were not compromised, they said. The company said that. The infrastructure said that it received digital confirmation of the data's destruction called shred logs from the hacking group. And the company said, quote unquote, we have been, informed that no infrastructure customers will be extorted as a result of this incident, publicly or otherwise. This is what the update said, okay? The agreement between the hackers and the infrastructure covers all impacted customers, and the company said there's no need for individual customers to attempt to engage with the unauthorized actor, the company said. So while there is never complete certainty when dealing with cyber criminals, they believed it was important to take every step within control to give customers additional peace of mind to the extent possible. So that was nice they did that. The infrastructure said it was organizing a webinar with company leadership to detail information about the attack and its efforts to harden the system. The company said expects the webinar to take place on, which was just a few days ago, May 13th. And so the FBI mobilized resources in multiple states to assist victims of the hack. A source familiar with the matter were quite a few school heads. And Canvas was fully back online and available for use last week, Friday morning. And universities, I think, did not expect this, even though they're in the summer term. It was a little bit of a problem for them. And again, it was throughout the country and around the globe. So many of the people had real disruption, stress on their teams, grades couldn't get uploaded. I experienced that myself. Missed moments in the classroom, questions couldn't get answered. So this really was a problem. But my biggest question is, so why did the bad actors go after Canvas? Specifically, the hacking group Shiny Hunters targeted the Canvas learning management system actually in May of 2026 to steal and hold for ransom and likely sell massive amounts of sensitive user data from nearly 9,000 educational institutions. And the attack was driven by a combination of high-value data, timing, and vulnerabilities of the platform. So the breach targeted 6.65 terabytes of data, including usernames, email addresses, and private messages of students and educators. This information is valuable on the dark web for identity theft and phishing scams. And ransom extortion, the attackers demanded a ransom payment, threatening to leak the data if a settlement was not reached, a tactic described by security experts as a standard criminal payday. Exploiting vulnerabilities, the hackers found a security flaw in the free for teacher accounts, which was back on April 29th, allowing them to gain access. The strategic timing, the attack was purposely timed during finals week. Of course it was, maximizing panic and disruption, which pressured the company to act quickly to restore services. Because so many schools, nearly 9,000 schools use Canvas. A single breach gave hackers access to millions of user records. This is even according to PBS. So Canvas parent company paid an undisclosed ransom to have the data deleted after it was stolen, a move that experts warned could encourage future attacks. I am very surprised that they did this. Very, very surprised. And with an unauthorized threat out there, they really got to do something to clean this up. The last cybersecurity incident that happened, disrupting schools and colleges nationwide, big problem. Infrastructure said that as part of its agreement with an unnamed threat actor, the stolen data was returned to the ed tech company, and it had received digital confirmation of data destruction in the form of shred logs. The threat actor said no, let's say infrastructure customers will be extorted from this incident, and the infrastructure said no individuals impacted by the breach will need to engage with them. While there is never complete certainty when dealing with cyber criminals, they kind of believe it was important to take every step within their control. No guaranteed data will be deleted. Shiny Hunters has been confirmed as the group behind the Canvas attack, as the group posted about the initial incident to its leak site on May 3rd. That caused a panic. And Shiny Hunters claimed on May 3rd to have stolen 3.65 terabytes of data from 275 million users across 9,000 schools worldwide. And so infrastructure has not confirmed how many schools or users were impacted by the recent data breach, but it was quite a few. And there were lots of posts out there. And this was a big problem. Michael Klein, a senior director for preparedness and response at the Institute for Safety and Technology, said that while he agrees with the FBI in most cases that organizations should not pay ransoms to cyber criminals after a data breach, sometimes there are situations in which he said the compromised data could cause physical harm, such as a ransomware attack on a hospital. In that situation, paying a ransom might be necessary, he said. With the infrastructure incident, Klein said he doesn't think the reported data that was compromised falls under that scenario that would necessitate really getting a payment. Also, you can't trust that the cyber criminal group is going to keep their word and not then go and extort all the people downstream of that anyway. Who knows what data they got. So if you remember, guys, back in 2024, Power School, used for, grammar schools and whatnot, was hacked. And Klein was working at the U.S. Department of Education as the senior advisor for cybersecurity. At the time, he was able to convene 41 states and Guam within a few days to share information on the incident, including how to understand the challenges, communicate with the company, and mitigate the impact for schools. So DHS secretary could restore the authority without Congress, Klein said then that the federal government could immediately assemble similar convenings again. Klein added that restoring funding for the Federal Multi-State Information Sharing Analysis Center on the MS Isaac could give school districts and state education agencies a no-cost access to as much cybersecurity threat information as possible. This incident, as well as the Power School incident, demonstrates the importance of support from the federal and state level in order to build capacity for institutions that cannot do this work themselves. Meanwhile, the Software Information Industry Association sent letters to lawmakers in both chambers of commerce calling for a $36 million investment in the fiscal year 2027 budget to ensure schools have access to digital security services. This was just a complete nightmare. So my question is, what did Canvas do to prevent this hack from happening again? And so they claim, this is what they claim, to prevent future breaches, the infrastructure, they shut down its free for teacher accounts, which served as the entry point for the May 2026 hack. The company also engaged a forensic expert to harden the system, paid hackers to delete stolen data to prevent further extortion, and is conducting a comprehensive security review. Temporary shutdown of the vulnerable portals, basically the free for teacher accounts, which were exploited to gain unauthorized access to 9,000 institutions, were immediately taken offline. System hardening and forensics infrastructure partnered with the external security experts to analyze the breach, performing a forensic analysis and further hardening their systems against future attacks. Agreement with the hackers. While controversial, the infrastructure confirmed an agreement with the hackers to delete stolen data, approximately 3.5 terabytes, and prevent the release of student, faculty, personal information. Enhanced monitoring. The company reported transitioning from maintenance mode back to full operation only after confirming they were not seeing any ongoing unauthorized activity. So security assessment and transparency. The infrastructure launched a comprehensive review of the compromised data and organized initiatives to communicate security measures with impacted institutions. While the system was brought back online on May 8th, the company continues to work on strengthening defenses, as hackers had previously targeted the system in two separate waves of attack. So this is just a complete nightmare. Think about myself, the students that were affected, the faculty. It's a complete nightmare. And so, the fact that they were even able to get through this tells me that their level of security was not where it should have been. Okay. Who knew that they were going to do this? I guess they just needed money, but it's not the first and it's not going to be the last. Who knows what it could be next time? But I was just very shocked that they paid off the bad actors. We tell people never do that. So at least it's back up and running, but is it really secure? Only time is going to tell. Google and Europe, number 2, regulatory pressure is hitting. So Google is once again, yes, guys, under pressure from the European regulators who have stated that recent compliance proposals are not strong enough. This signals a deeper shift in regulatory expectations where partial adjustments are no longer sufficient. Instead, regulators are pushing for structural changes in how dominant platforms operate within the market. Now, this ongoing tension highlights a global shift. Yup, governments are no longer negotiating around big tech behavior. They are actively reshaping it. My question is, how? And is this something that's going to be short-term, or are they going to do this forever? Are they going to have funding to do this? That's a big problem. Number 3, guys, Russia's internet control crisis is crazy. Russia's tightening internet restrictions, and they're now having a direct impact on small businesses and everyday users, with them basically throttling VPN connections, messaging platforms, setting up additional restrictions, and inconsistent mobile connectivity issues. Digital commerce is becoming unstable. Businesses that relied so much on real-time communication are seeing transactions just disappear, and customers just disconnected like that without any warning. This is an example of how internet control at the infrastructure level can quickly become an economic disruption tool. We learned what happened with Montclair State University and other known universities around the world, 9,000 of them, in fact, all because they relied on Canvas, and Canvas really wasn't as secure as people thought. I was really surprised that that infrastructure was able to be hacked. I thought for sure that was going to be ironclad, but it just goes to show you anything can be hacked. There was a big issue, I know, with millions of people that actually got hacked with the cPanel. You guys familiar with this? The cPanel affected millions, the hack. And so let me talk about this real briefly, because this is really important. So a critical security vulnerability, a CVE, identified as CVE 2026-41940, was recently discovered in the cPanel and WHM, which stands for Web Hosting Manager software, exposing millions of websites to potential takeover. This flaw allows remote attackers to bypass the login screen and gain full administrative root access to servers without needing a password or multi-factor authentication. Yeah. So although a patch was released by cPanel on April 28, 2026, evidence still suggests that hackers had been actively exploiting the zero-day bug since February 23, 2026. Millions of customers were finding their websites down, all because of very simple things. They would just change the htaccess file. They would delete some things, but they really weren't deleting things. They were just trying to be mischievous in this level. And so the vulnerability is an authentication bypass flaw. It uses a technique called CRLF, where new line characters are inserted into a malicious authorization header. And this tricks the system into writing arbitrary data like user equals root into session files on the disk, granting immediate administrative access. Experts estimated that over 70 million domains were at risk due to the widespread use of cPanel in the web hosting industry. Approximately 1.5 million to 2 million cPanel instances were found directly exposed to the internet. The severity was very high. The flaw received a near perfect critical severity score of a 9.8 out of 10, and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, added it to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog on May 1st, 2026, signaling immediate threat that people should be aware of. So the bug affects nearly all supported versions of cPanel and associated products released after 11.40. So cPanel WHM versions between 11.40 and 11.40 and 11.136 are affected. So 0.40 to 136, that's a pretty big range. Even a WordPress management layer built on a cPanel platform, which I'm not a real fan of WordPress. I think the security on that's a nightmare. And cPanel DNS only also confirmed it as affected. What do the users need to do? Update immediately. Use the cPanel update script. Verify the build. Confirm the software version matches the official fixed versions. Restart the services after updating. Restart the CP server VD service to ensure the patch is fully active, and check for compromise. Review server logs for unauthorized login attempts or unusual activity dating back to late February 2026. Several major hosting providers like Namecheap, HostGator, and many others, known hosts proactively block cPanel login ports 2083 and 2087 during the initial peak of the crisis to protect their customers. Yeah, so it's not a question, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to get attacked, but when, if you're not properly protected. And these two things definitely indicate that, what happened with the universities and what happened with cPanel. That's pretty bad. Number 4, guys, OpenAI's real-time voice models are now here. So OpenAI has now introduced 3 real-time voice models designed to transform communication systems. Now, these include a couple different ones. One is conversational agents. Another one is live translation tools. And the other one is called instant speech-to-text processing. So they did this to try to make their system more resilient and able to be, I guess you'd say, more flexible So I think that's the reason that they did it. But a lot of people looking at this are saying, why do they do this? It sounds like it's going to be more confusing. And I think a lot of people are confused with this. So the major shift here is speed and its interaction, moving away from delayed text-based processing toward real-time AI communication. Now, this opens the door for live AI customer support, real-time global communication, and fully interactive AI workflows. That word workflows, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard it before, it's becoming a new thing. Everything you're doing is a workflow. We take a process and we make it part of a workflow. We can execute that workflow once. We can execute it multiple times when certain conditions exist. We're using workflows in different types of accounting systems, and giving people the control to have that granularity with having the flexibility to create scripts and be able to create a flow from anything to, let's say, sending statements or setting up auto finance charges and creating some very unique logic to not process or run only if those conditions are true. Number 5, guys, Blue Owl is pulling back from the software loans. Yeah. So Blue Owl is reportedly stepping back from software lending due to increasing uncertainty around AI-driven valuation changes. Ladies and gentlemen, this kind of reminds me of the .com boom, where a lot of the websites out there, they valued at such a high number, but they weren't even worth a penny or two. But they said they were worth more. And, well, a lot of them went out of business. As artificial intelligence reshapes company growth expectations, traditional financial models are becoming harder to stabilize. This cautious shift reflects how AI is not only changing technology, guys, it's reshaping investment risks and behavior across the financial sector. And so we're starting to see this when companies that issue loans and manage banking infrastructures are starting to be a little timid about this. Number 6, guys. It's about Meta versus the UK in the billion-dollar legal battle. So Meta is now challenging the UK regulators over how fines are calculated under the Online Safety Act. So the core dispute centers on whether penalties should be based on global revenue or regional earnings. The outcome of this case could set a major precedent for how global tech companies are regulated by individual countries, especially when their operations span across borders. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, when we set a precedent, it affects small companies and large companies, those publicly traded and those that are not publicly traded. So that's important to know. Number 7, guys, Europe softens the AI regulation. So European lawmakers have delayed the strict AI enforcement rules for high-risk systems while still banning certain harmful applications like deepfake notification tools. And this creates a mixed regulatory environment where innovation is still encouraged, but certain boundaries are being placed on, well, misuse. And that's starting to cause a panic with a lot of people. Critics argue that this delay gives major tech companies additional time to scale before strict oversight fully arrives. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, in the one side, by giving them time to do something is great. But on the other side, if they don't do anything, it's only going to burn them later. I think it's okay to set the precedents, but I think they should at least be asking them to submit the plans of what they're going to do. I think that should at least be required. But a lot of times they don't know what's going on. They have no clue, and we don't even have laws to handle AI right now. Okay? We have no laws to handle AI. Okay? I think a lot of people don't understand what's going on. And I don't think the government's even understand. Okay? But they're going to have to step up to the plate. They're going to have to do something very soon because this is getting serious soon. Okay? And that's definitely important to know. Number 8, the U.S. Department of Justice pushes back on AI claims. The U.S. Department of Justice is warning companies that AI, quote unquote, disruption cannot be used as a vague justification in mergers and acquisitions. Regulators now are demanding concrete evidence instead of marketing language. This marks a shift towards stricter accountability in how AI is used in corporate strategy and in its legal defense, which we all know is not very strong. Number 9, guys, Meta addiction verdict challenge. So Meta is attempting to overturn a legal ruling that linked Instagram's design to mental health harm. The case raises broader questions about platform responsibility, especially around how social media algorithms influence behavior and emotional well-being. Now, the outcome could reshape how tech companies are held accountable for user experience design. And I think it's about time that comes to fruition because, they've been just exploiting people. I'm going to give you an example. I was on TikTok not too long ago, and I can tell you that this whole thing about, what was going on it's crazy. So I was watching somebody on TikTok, and when I was at this post that I saw, there was a guy in there, okay, and he was talking about basically following somebody around and trying to know when they worked and things like that. It was kind of like stalking. It was kind of creepy. But the thing that was really weird, not just that, but he's driving. Now, on TikTok, you're not supposed to drive and stream. It's a dangerous activity. I reported it. They came back several hours later, as I knew they probably would, because he's got like a couple 100,000 views. We reviewed the video, and we found that it does not violate our terms and service conditions. I mean, seriously, TikTok is just so biased. They do whatever they want. We really need to get to the control of that company in the U.S. They are just so sideways. It is not even funny. Number 10, guys, Instagram encryption changes now. Instagram has quietly adjusted its direct messaging system, removing full end-to-end encryption under certain conditions. So while not immediately visible to users, this change has significantly put implications for privacy of data at the risk, and its security, and now the platform trust. It highlights the ongoing tension between privacy expectations and platform control, and I like to say accountability. So why did they do this? I'm not sure. But I can tell you that now that they've taken this off, they can basically share your information almost anytime they want. They claim they have to have a reason, a valid reason. But we know Facebook and Meta, they'll just fabricate one, like the TikTok people did. They fabricated a reason that this guy for 30 days was driving his car and streaming. That's bad. Number 11, guys. Amazon drone delivery expansion is now upon us. Amazon expanded the drone delivery testing in the United Kingdom, bringing small package aerial logistics into real-world residential environments. Deliveries under 5 pounds can now be completed in under 2 hours in certain areas. This marks a major shift in how last-mile logistics may evolve in the coming years. But my big question is, will there be basically an umbrella? Will there be an umbrella for drone delivery coverage and specialized insurance coverage, which we call umbrella policies, special liability, and people operating drone delivery are going to fall into this. But I'm thinking it's going to scope even further, like the homeowner, right? not just Amazon. So if something goes wrong and Amazon's deploying it, yes, they're guilty. But suppose, like, I don't know, just the person could get implicated. As of 2026, specialized insurance umbrellas for homeowners regarding drone delivery risks are now emerging, okay? Primarily driven by the expansion of the FAA-approved delivery operations into suburban areas. While companies like Amazon, Walmart, and Google Wing carry their own commercial liability insurance, homeowners are increasingly looking for personal coverage against privacy violations, noise, property damage, and potential injury caused by these deliveries. Yeah. So existing homeowners policies, many standard homeowner insurance policies may provide limited liability coverage for drone incidents, but they often exclude commercial aircraft activity. Some insurers are beginning to distinguish between recreational drones and commercial delivery drones, and we know the ones that Amazon uses is going to be, yes, commercial delivery drones. So specialized drone insurance endorsements. As the drone deliveries become more common, insurers are expected to offer specific endorsements or riders for homeowners to cover risk related to commercial drones operating over their property. Something called a PLUP, a personal liability umbrella policy. Yes, if you haven't heard that before, a PLUP is real. Existing personal umbrella policies may offer extra protection if a standard policy excludes drone mishaps. Privacy coverage specialized policies are beginning to address privacy invasion claims, which are a major concern with delivery drones, as some may possess sensors or cameras, and who knows what they're going to do with that data. So property rights versus airspace is another concern. Liability allocations, risk of surveillance, right? So there's going to be rules coming to the table. I mean, that's just a no-brainer. Number 12, guys, smart glasses misuse incident. A report of misuse of the smart glass technology has raised some serious concerns about real-world privacy violations. In this case, wearable recording devices were allegedly used without consent. Content was monetized in unethical ways. This highlights a growing gap between emerging wearable technology and legal protections. So let's talk about this. So there was a gentleman, call him a gentleman, but really I shouldn't call him a gentleman. And there was a lady, and he was filming this lady. He was putting it on his dating site or what have you. And the lady did not want to be filmed. He had his glasses on, right? And she's like, you have to take that down. He's like, no. He's like, if you want me to take it down, it's going to be several $1,000s. So the lady was extorted to pay that money. I think that is wrong, guys. That is wrong. I know, be a content creator and video producer for a long time. I was shooting a video for National Pizza Day. And when I was there, I ordered the different kinds of pizzas. I was going to review it. And as I was shooting the video, okay, just holding the video, the camera, a guy comes up to me because I guess my frame maybe got him in from way back in the restaurant. He comes up all panicked. He's like, he's like, you got to delete that. He's like, I know you don't have to, but please, you got to do me a favor. You got to delete that. He's like, I can't have anybody seeing that. If my wife sees it, I'll be in big trouble. So he was out with somebody else, not to get in all those details. So I said, all right, I'll delete it. It's no big deal. I mean, I wasn't going to try to be a jerk, right? I'm not trying to do anything wrong. So my pizza's all cold. I went back to the restaurant owner, proprietor. He says, no problem. He says, order me what? He says, I'll reorder. No fee. Just reorder whatever you want, and I'll bring it over to you. No charge. I was back there a couple months ago, and I said, I want to shoot another video. So go ahead. I said, I don't want to be stopped by that guy in the back. Remember last time? Oh, that guy hasn't been here for over a year. He's not coming back here again. Okay. Number 13, Apple AI marketing settlement. Apple is facing financial payouts following claims that certain AI features were promoted before they were actually fully available. This case focuses on the gap between marketing expectations and actual product readiness. I think the marketing people actually need to sit in on the tech classes so they can realize what's actually being rolled out. This raises broader concerns about how AI capabilities are communicated to consumers on a daily basis. Bottom line, they had to pay the money. Number 14, Starlink passport verification rules. This is an interesting one. Starlink has introduced a new identity verification requirement procedure for roaming users, including passport validation and live selfie checks. While intended to prevent misuse, this raises concerns about access control and digital identity enforcement in satellite-based internet systems. Guys, this is insane. So how does this new, let me ask you, so how does, and it's a good question to ask, how does the new Starlink passport verification work? So again, they did it to prevent any kind of problem. So as of May 2026, they require users traveling outside their home country to complete a new travel registration to avoid service disconnection. Users must upload a clear photo of their passport and take a live portrait selfie to verify identity, confirming the face matches the passport photo, typically within 24 hours of receiving the notification, or, well, their service will be interrupted. So if you're roaming in a foreign country, you'll see a red banner in your Starlink account or app requesting registration. You must provide your full legal name, nationality, date of birth, passport number, a photo of the passport, and a live selfie. The verification process, you upload the images. They're analyzed to verify your identity, and the process can take up to a day. Users are warned that improper or blurry photos can cause further delays. Pre-registration. If you know you're traveling, you can complete this registration ahead of time in your account settings. The consequences, well, failure to complete the registration may result in your internet access being disabled while abroad. So I want to just hint about a situation, and I'm going to be covering it in next week's show. It's the saga of getting a quote and what happens when AI systems lie when you ask them if they're real live people. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole thing this week, but let's just say I'm going to do it next week, and I'm going to share all the details. And I want to wait till next week because I'm still getting some issues from it. So I want to share the whole situation, everything we're going through, and share this with you so that if it's happening to you, you're like, okay, now I know what's going on. And I know a lot of you are saying to me, John, this sounds crazy. It's not crazy, okay? I'm going to tell you how this works and tell you how they're exploiting people. So that's an interesting thing. So we talked about a lot today when it came to technology. And I want to say this again. I want to reiterate this again. AI is not good. AI is not bad. AI is a tool, and how you choose to use it makes it so. So I have a book coming out. It'll be out, I think, probably Q1 or Q2 of 2027. The truth about AI, the world's not going to tell you. Either that or it might be the media doesn't tell you. It's going to be something like somebody doesn't tell you. And it's going to be interesting. AI today is grabbing lots of information. Just now, ChatGPT has added a new plan. Did you know that? Yes. Let's just go over this real quick. ChatGPT plans, and we'll wrap up tonight. So the free version, which you probably know about, limited access to 5.5 instant, limited messages and uploads, limited and slower image generation, limited deep research, limited memory and context, limited codex access. And I believe the way it's working now in the free version, you basically, you can do the document Canva mode, but what happens is you're only allowed to upload 5 in a day. They have an $8 mode. You can keep chatting and expanded access, more access to GPT-5, more messages, more uploads, more image creation, longer memory. Now you have the Plus. You have advanced reasoning, With GPT 5.5, you've expanded messages and uploads, more complex and supposedly accurate image creation, expanded deep research and agent mode, expanded memory and context, projects, tasks, and custom GPTs, expanded codex usage, early access to new features. Yeah. And now we have the $100 version. Yeah, there's a $100 version. You heard me right. So $100 version is interesting. Everything you get in the Plus, 5 times or 20 times more usage. The thinking is 5 times, 10 times, or 20 times more codex usage. Pro reasoning with GPT 5.5 Pro. Maximum codex tasks. Unlimited GPT 5.3 and file uploads. It's unlimited. Unlimited faster image creation. Maximum deep research and agent mode. Maximum memory and context. Expanded projects and tasks, and custom GPTs. Research preview of new features. Unlimited subject to abuse guardrails. So what does that mean? So they have guardrails in place to help prevent misuse. They're always working to improve the systems. They may occasionally involve a temporary restriction on your usage. So they'll inform you when it happens, and if you think it's a mistake, basically they will try to fix that for you. So in the Pro plan, let's just say you have a little more ability to exploit that. So it says unlimited subject to abuse guardrails. So that's a little bit misleading. If you ask me, unlimited subject. Yeah, so I don't know if I believe that 100%. And then they have another version, guys. They have their, basically they have the 100, and then they have one that's at they have their full version, which their full version is even more. That one's like $200 a month. So now they have the $100 one, and now you can go up to the $200 one. I know a few people that have bought the $200 one. They claim that it basically gives them the ability to do things faster. So the $200 one is for heavy lifting. You can run the most demanding workflows continuously, even across parallel projects, with 20 times higher limits than Plus. So for the Pro, they're giving you this for the most loyal customers for carrying forward the benefits of earlier 2-time promos, which means Pro is $200 now, which includes 20 times Plus on the ongoing basis. In addition, they're continuing to honor the higher 5-hour codex limits for limited time, so those remain at 25 times Plus through March 31st, or whenever your plan is. So it just depends. That's just the last time they update it. And so the $200 Pro plan remains the highest usage tier. The $100 plan simply adds another option for users who want Pro capabilities with lower usage. So the big question is, if you're happy with the $200 level, that's fine. But you're going to find that you're going to get more prioritized access. I know even with the paid level that I have, I still sometimes get a thing like, it ran out of streaming. I get an error. So, ChatGPT and all these systems, they can't be free. But the thing that I keep, going back to is that they make mistakes, guys. They make mistakes left and they make mistakes right. And I don't mind paying money for something, but if something's not going to work, then I feel that's a problem. Okay. That's an important one, guys. And I think the most important thing I can tell you with these ChatGPT and these systems is that, yes, they're trying to build things better, but unfortunately, their systems are not resilient enough. I haven't gone up to the $200 level. I might do that. I'll have to see. Most of the challenges I have with ChatGPT is if I give it a query, sometimes it will bog down. It's been better but sometimes I'd put something through and the chat would literally just it would lock the window. I have found better luck with the ChatGPT app as opposed to the website because that's right. And then also making sure that you turn full Canva, full doc mode on. So that's another real big one that I think a lot of people don't realize because, see, once the chat gets so full, it basically crashes and it tells you, sorry, this chat's full. There's nothing else we can do. Right. So that's an important one to know. Make sure you turn on full document mode and full Canva mode on all the time. What you're going to find is sometimes it turns those modes off, which is not a good thing. But I can't wait to share with you the story about this insurance deal and how, let's just say, it's been more of an annoyance. So I'm waiting to the end of this week, and then I will put it into next week's show because I'll have a lot more juicy facts to give you, including the fact that when you speak to somebody, are you a real person? Yes, I am. But I'll go through that in detail and explain how that happens and kind of how you can mitigate that a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, the JMOR Tech Talk Show is on every single week on Friday nights. If you miss this show or any other show, well, you can go to believemeachieve.com for, of course, more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And you can now do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can get my short form content, my long form content, articles, reels, and so much more. Yes, it's definitely a place you can go to. Incidentally, if you are on the road and you want to listen to my podcast, you can do that from there as well. So there's lots of options for you. And also, I'm very grateful and proud to let you know that we launched JCM Academy, basically the same day we launched the book, which we are now at, it launched last month, which was April. It launched April 17th. So we're almost a month because the 17th falls on a Sunday this month. So we're almost a month. The 17th would be a month since the book released and the website released. So lots of amazing information. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what this means? It's that time. Yes, that wraps up another amazing week of the JMOR Tech Talk Show. And, if you have an idea for a show or you want me to cover something, feel free to reach out. I do want to let you know that our other show, its home now has a home on jsonacademy.com. The home for the JMOR Tech Talk Show is jmor.com, and we are redoing the entire website. Probably will be done within the next 30 days or less. And we will even have a spot in there where you can actually apply right online and be able to submit information. And if we're interested, the system will take you to the next level. And if the system validates you, it will notify us so that we can actually interview you in person, actually virtually online. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, that takes us to the end of the show. Series 5, Show 20. You're not going to want to miss the AI story that I have for you next week. You're not going to want to miss it. It is a real world live example. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, graduate student, and a passionate lifelong learner. And now, guys, I am so grateful to be a published author. Can't wait to share the book about AI, which will be out, like I said, about Q1, Q2 of 2027. And when I tell a story, guys, it's not to get readers. It's to tell the truth. Being in media for a long time, some media people don't like me because I tell the truth. I don't tell things that bleed so they lead. I tell the truth. It might not be glamorous. It might not be exotic, but it's the truth. And I just believe that the truth means more than anything else you can do. What are your thoughts about that? Let me know. So every week, we have 14 reels, basically 2 a day, usually 1 in the morning, 1 later in the day. And then on the JMOR Tech Talk Show, I roll all those into the show with a lot more, let's say, granular detail, because the reels are only like 20, 30 seconds. They're just meant to give you, basically an understanding or an introduction to the concept. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I want to do? I want to thank you. I want to thank you for not only spending time with me here today, for opening your mind up to lots of these new ideas and technologies and insights, and also to be aware of what's going on with our world and where things are laying, because, you know, everybody I know is relying so much on AI. Not that AI is bad. I said AI is a tool. It's not good. It's not bad. It's how we choose to use it. They're relying on AI so much and they're not thinking. I don't know about you, but that's a bad thing. I think we need to be using our brains more. I remember my dad saying in one of our businesses that, you know, the cash register is not good for a lot of the people who work for us because they don't use their brain. Before the register would prompt me with the total, I would already be ready with the amount, and then I would check the screen. I was right with the amount that I expected. How many people do you know when you go to them and you give them, you buy something, that you give them something, they get back with the money, like, okay, 5, 10, 15, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 is 10, or that's 18, 19, and 20, right? They count backwards back to the number. So say it was 16, and there's like, and 17, 18, 19, and this one's 20, right? People don't do that because they're using technology. I think if we're using technology to be lazy, that's not good. Technology shouldn't be used as a crutch. It should be used as something to support us, augmenting us, not replacing the great brain that we were given. Yeah. That's the whole thing about AI. There are people going to school right now to learn how to program AI. But you know the problem with that? They don't even know how to solve real-world problems. And they're not going to do it ethically. Thank you so much for tuning in. As we continue to explore, ladies and gentlemen, the technologies shaping our digital future, I invite you now to visit believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. I hope you enjoyed this talk, the AI innovation, the cybersecurity, where we're going with future tech, smart homes, AI trends, innovation, digital futures, and so much more. Tech leadership and the digital landscape. And of course, don't forget about AI governments and the future of work, because it's changing everything, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourself a great one. And I'll see you guys next week on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Be well.
I'd fuck your shadow in a gravel road, buddy. You look pretty fucking good. You into dudes?
Are you off your face?
No, I'm about to get. I would love you to come on my face, but.
Oh, bro, is it cold? Piss off. No, you've been yeah, come on. Me and him are going to twist your dick.
Please, please. Hands behind my back. I'd suck your dad's dick just to get a taste of what you're made of. I'm convinced